Hey everyone, welcome back. Mitch here with Outdoors Engineer. Today we're going to start preparing for the new yard light pole. We can see behind me the old yard light pole, and the new yard light pole is going to go on this side. I've got the Kioti. This is going to be a tractor video. It's going to be moving some dirt, and then also a little bit later on we're going to be using the Kioti to move some gravel and spread it out on the driveway. So first things today, we've got a little pile of dirt here. There was more earlier. I moved it, some of it already. But what I've got going on here, this is the old garden. And this is some good garden dirt. And we're not going to do a garden in this spot anymore, but I want to save this dirt for whenever I need supplemental dirt for the garden, or perhaps planting something. So I've got this pile of dirt that I got here was actually kind of right where the Kioti is, or was. I had some fill sand from our landscaping project. I put that sand in there instead, and I'm piled up this dirt here. So I've still, where Luke is standing, there's still about 8 to 12, 16 inches of good garden soil in there. But for now, I'm gonna leave it there until I can get some more sand to get it out. And we'll eventually get this dirt out of here someday. But so, first we'll tackle getting rid of this pile of dirt, even though Luca's in the way and doesn't want us to. We will do such a thing. And then we got some more dirt on the back. We got to move. I need to figure out where I want to store this stuff at. I've been kind of moving it around. I think I've got a spot now. We're going to put it there and see how we like it. And then we'll see. So let's get the tractor in. Luca, what do you think, buddy? Huh? All right, so a couple days ago, I finished moving that pile of dirt. Today we're gonna continue getting that done, moving, but before I get to that, I gotta put some grease in the loader. I gotta do the 10-hour greasing and put some fuel in the tractor. We're almost empty, so I'm gonna move it out of this little corner here. Just for access, I like to tip the bucket loader arms for easy access to the grease zerks, and then also lower the 3-point carry-all. Now I always like to have fuel on hand. I just filled up my jugs last weekend. So I've got 10 gallons of diesel fuel. I don't honestly use off-road too often. I use just regular diesel fuel because it's more convenient. It's extra driving for me to go get the off-road. There's only 2 stations in town that have off-road availability. So I just typically use on-road diesel. Got to support the road building anyways, somehow. So we're about just above empty, less than eighth of a tank. I should be able to fit all 5 gallons, and I haven't really ever calculated the mileage of this tractor. I probably should, but that probably would require me to know the known quantity I'm putting in, getting it to full, and then, or at least get it to full, and then run it for a job, get down a half tank, and then refill it, and know the exact quantity I put into it. And that's just hard because I don't think I've ever filled this tractor up at a fuel station. I've always filled it up with cans. Maybe someday I'll get a nice fuel tank to fill it with. So let me know in the comments below what have you ever calculated the mileage of your Kioti? Any tractor. This is a CK3510SE, but what do you get for gallons per hour, I guess would be the calculation. I'm doing some business calcs right now to try to figure out if I can use this tractor in my business and how much it actually costs. And part of that calculation is how much fuel is used per hour of usage. Because frankly, I'm considering upgrading a tractor, getting a snowblower for it and tiller and all this other stuff, and using it in business for other people around the area, doing food plots or snow blowing driveways if needed, opening up cabin driveways. And knowing that fuel mileage calculation is pretty important. Everything I've seen on the internet is people have been getting roughly 1 gallon per hour, no matter what, but I haven't confirmed or denied that. So I got 5 gallons in. I'm gonna actually top it off with the other can that I have. So this can was originally, I bought this over 10 years ago, and it had a fancy spout on it. And at that point I didn't like those. So I put an aftermarket spout and I drilled a hole in it, and I just have a screw in it, which leaks. But I do have a regular, newer diesel fuel can with the fancy spout. I actually don't mind this because what's nice about this spout is I can orient it such so that this little lip here catches. Why does it do that? Tighten it on there. I can orient it so that this spout catches on the lip of this and kind of holds up all 5 gallons when I first start pouring it. So it's like this, and then I don't have as much strength the need to hold this 5 gallons up in the air. And I guess more control of when the fuel stops too. There's a trade-off. It is slower than the other one. We are at, 312 hours on this tractor so far. It's going strong. You may have seen a past video where the only issue with it so far has been that leak in the seal on the front axle. Otherwise, yearly maintenance on the oil and filter. I could do that again this fall here, winter, because the last time I did it was a 200-hour service last winter. You saw that video here too. We're almost full. But I'll probably change it again. It's got over 100 hours on it since I last changed it. And we're getting to the point where we're meeting up with the required yearly service that most manufacturers want to see, especially with oil changes. All right, with these lower ones, especially down by the bucket, I did rinse off the bucket last night because I knew I was going to be doing this. Got a lot of the sand out of here. But always wipe off the tips of the zerks, because if there's any granules in there and you try to enforce grease in there, then they might get plugged with dirt. So I usually go through with a rag and wipe off the ends of the zerks so that there isn't any issues. What's the best grease gun out there? Bought this at Tractor Supply. It leaks, dirty. Not happy with it. I don't have a battery powered or electric one yet, but I should get something. Let me know in the comments what you use. How many squirts of grease do you put in when you're greasing your tractor loader? That was 3. 4. There we go. Got all 4 of those. 2 here. And this should be done every 10 hours. And I've been using this loader a lot lately too. So I'm going to put a little extra in there. Oh, look at that. Thing is loose again. Last time I tightened it was the 200-hour service. This bolt that retains those in there. Well, that one's tight. That one's tight. That one's stripped. That one's tight. I have seen people, I think some of them you can do it on, but you can put nuts on the backside, but I don't know if that's going to be possible on some of these. All right. Got fuel. Topped off the grease on all the joints. And the last thing I want to do is put some lubricant on the assembly on the loader. All right, do you lubricate this assembly here? And if so, what's your lubricant of choice? Just find that it's much easier to, once you lubricate it, that everything just kind of operates more smoothly. I'm actually gonna lubricate this guy here, because Gets kind of squeaky. I'm gonna lubricate the main pin here. This is the Power Lube with PTFE. Smells good. I have this for lubricating slide mechanisms in the camper. Getting low. Mental note. Get some more PTFE lubricant. Here we go. All right, let's take this baby outside and we can start moving some dirt again. 310-hour service is complete. All right, so we still got this pile of dirt here we gotta move. We've got some mulch there. We've got some compost from the area landfill there, and that's some topsoil. And what I'm trying to do is consolidate and find a better location for this stuff. In this area, it's underneath some pine trees, so a lot of pine needles fall on it. So it's not really a good spot. Got a lot of dirt moving to do. I got a bunch of topsoil over there that I stripped. I should really fill this hole in with. So this is some really good garden soil. Put it in 4-wheel drive so I don't skid up the yard. Just like that there. I really should use some of this dirt to level this yard back here, but that would then require me to make more lawn. Nice black dirt. I don't like this route, that's bumpy. So next on the agenda is I've got a small pile of gravel left over from our landscaping project, and I want to spread that on the driveway in a spot that'll help where I've had problems with drainage in the past. So I want to spend that gravel in that area, kind of rebuild the crown a little bit. I mean, now I've got a little bit left, so I might as well put it in the driveway. It is road gravel. Watching guys like Mike Morgan and Outdoors with Morgan, or anybody that does improvements to driveways, I see a lot of stuff about, Good Works tractors too, but putting limestone or 2A limestone, 2B limestone, I don't even know what the differences are. We don't have that here in northern Wisconsin. You've got just like washed rock, washed stone. There's a quarry in central Wisconsin. They produce a blue aggregate. Another popular driveway material around here is disintegrated red granite. And that's what I got on a lot of the driveway up closer to the house. The other option is just road base, 3/4 inch gravel. And that's what the majority of our driveway is.
So, and it produces a lot of sand, especially when it's a wet day. Drive on that gravel, then drive on the blacktop or in the garage, you get a lot of sand. So I'm going to take that gravel, spread it out in the driveway just to make it nice and smooth again, fill in any potholes. And then I'd like to investigate, maybe in the next year or two, skimming a couple inches off the gravel and putting some of that blue granite down, either in a 3/4 inch and then top it off with some 3/8 inch, just to reduce the amount of sand. I'm not going to put blacktop in because that's just ungodly expensive for how long our driveway is. Although it would be really nice, but just not feasible. But for now, we'll just use a regular road-based gravel for our driveway. One of the biggest things about operating this loader is having a frame of reference from where the bucket is actually level on the ground. And I mentioned this before in past videos, but I use the stick that's on the loader, and I've got pieces of tape on that stick, and I know relatively when I have the red tape lined up with the top of the cylinder, that my bucket's level when it's hitting the ground. So then I can use that for grading purposes, or if I tilt it back with respect to that location, I know I could do some dragging and some leveling, or leveling going forward. And then also for some fine grading, I tip it just a touch back a little bit and then drop it down and put some pressure down, and that'll fill in potholes and do a lot of work that way. So it's very useful to know where you're at. And I did find that the loader is not the same as the forks. So I had 2 spots on that stick for frame of reference. That's it. Call that a wrap. I wish I had a box plane or a box blade or a land plane, but just is not in the budget right now, or hasn't been at least. Get me in the light here from the great old Kioti. Yeah, the bucket does pretty well. You know, just a little bit of finesse to get the right angles. It really helps to have the gauge on the loader set. I've got, you can't see it in this configuration, but I've got multiple rows of tape, electrical tape on the internal bar. It needs to be redone, but I know exactly where the bucket is level when doing that grading, and it really helps to be able to know that so that you can get the right angles. If I want to cut a little bit when back dragging, I can tilt it back a bunch. If I want to make a nice level plane or smooth it out, I can tip it forward a little bit. So that just comes with experience. I've been doing, since I don't have a box blade or a regular blade or a land plane, it comes with experience being able to use just the bucket, the tools that I have to be able to get the work done. Had a little bit of a pothole developing out there, had a little bit of gravel left over, and it was a perfect opportunity to clean up that pothole before it rains tomorrow. It's supposed to be rainy the rest of the week. So get that in before the pothole gets any worse. And now this pile of gravel is not on the way for snow plowing this winter. So that's about it for this one. Again, the Kioti is just an awesome tool to have on our property here. Look forward to doing some more work with it and showing you along the way. So if you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.